always said that in our relationship, that like if you have a fear of it, and not an actual fear that people could be like, yeah, that's
like a dangerous fear. Like you
like
shouldn't jump off a mountain.
Yeah. But this fear of like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I want to do that. Yeah, that's uncomfortable. Then you know I need to tackle that. I need to do it. I need to overcome it.
It's a clear indicator that is the one thing you should do right now today. That is the most important next step in your life.
Welcome back to The Great Conversation. I'm so glad that you're here joining Ben and I in this conversation. Last week we talked about your dream life. Can you get out of the mold? Do you want to get out of the mold and actually write a story with your life that is worth reading? This week, we're actually going to talk about how to build a life that you love to wake up to. What are the steps? What do you need to do? So if you haven't watched the last episode, make sure you go watch that before you tune into this one.
Absolutely.
So I kind of want to start out with a quote that you threw at me the other day, and Bill Gates said it, and he said that most people overestimate what they can do in a year, but they underestimate what they can do in a decade.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I heard you say that, and I said, I don't really believe that, because people will sit around and they will dream of their life in 10 years. They'll say, you know, I would love to own my own business, or I'd love to open my own shop. I would love to have this many kids. You know, whatever it is, building their life, that dream of maybe in a decade what their life would look like. But yet, what are they doing today that would actually move them forward in that way? Today, I can do this. So I personally think that, you know, not to contradict Bill Gates, he is a lot more successful. Yeah, he's got a little something going on. But I personally, the concept of this video, I think that people often will underestimate what they can do in a day. Yeah. And overestimate what they can do in a year. So they might have this year goal, you know, their New Year's resolution, and say at the end of the year, I want to do this and have this accomplishment. But they haven't actually said, today I'm going to do this. They say, oh, you know what, it's already noon. I didn't really get around to it, and the day's like halfway over, so I probably won't even.
We'll get to it tomorrow.
Yeah, I won't even tap into it today. Maybe tomorrow. I'll start fresh, start in the morning. And so they've underestimated that today will be gone. It's like completely gone, never coming back. This specific day of 2022 is never going to happen again.
And we talked about that 2 episodes ago.
Yeah, and what can I do today that will move me forward? Not just move me in some energy field of like, oh, I felt like I did something today. I felt busy. Yeah. But actually moving them forward towards that goal of, by the end of this year, I want to reach that goal.
Yeah. And so what happens today?
Yeah, and you are so good at that. You are so good at making sure that today counts, because today is all that you know that you have.
Yeah, today is all that you have, because literally tomorrow is gone, or yesterday is gone, and tomorrow hasn't come. You know, I was thinking of like the idea, the sign on the side of Joe's Crab Shack. It says free beer tomorrow, right? But you show up tomorrow, and the sign still says free beer tomorrow. Okay. Yeah. And so it's this idea that like, okay, what the best is coming tomorrow, but the best will only come tomorrow if you start taking action today. Mm-hmm. And that really is what it boils down to. And everything that we do, we wake up and we say, okay, we're going to do today what we want to do.
So to make sure that we actually can accomplish things every day and not underestimate what we can do in a day, make sure that we can get to our goals in a year and get to our dream life in 10 years, how do we build a life that we love to wake up to? What do we need to do?
Set goals, have tasks, and build systems.
Okay, so I think you and I, we've had to have a lot of conversation about goals. You've had to read a lot about like your goals, and I've had to actually like talk to you about what you've read specifically for your business. I was doing goals really wrong for a long time.
How are you doing goals, and how have we now set goals in our life today?
We always sit down December 31st and write out our goals and dreams. Yeah. And we do them separately, then we come together and read them. And I apparently have been doing them wrong all of these years. I am very much task-oriented. So all of my goals were, I'm going to ride my bike this many days a week. I'm going to work out this much every day. I'm going to invite these people over this many times a month. I'm going to, etc. Tasks is what I was writing down instead of actual goals. Yeah. Instead of saying by the end of the month, I want to have 6-pack abs. So I'm going to, then I can write out my task of how I'm going to do it.
Exactly.
But the goal is what I want to look like at the end of doing all these tasks.
It's your mission. It's what you're going towards.
Yeah. And so that is a goal. And I was just writing tasks without actually having this idea, this picture of what I wanted to be. They were just a bunch of tasks that I was like, I think I know what I want to look like or be like, or developmentally, in my character be like at the end of the year. But I actually wasn't writing them down to like bring my focus back every day when the task got hard
Yes.
of why am I doing this?
Exactly. And you won't know when you actually reach that goal. You won't know when it's good enough. Okay, when are my abs, chiseled enough or whatever it might be? Do you have a picture of somebody you wanted to look like? Whatever that might be. And so that's the issue with just writing down tasks for yourself is you're not setting yourself towards something. It's just a repetitive thing, and that's where burnout comes from.
Yeah.
Burnout comes from when somebody doesn't know what they're striving towards, and it's really just this never-ending cycle of work and tasks.
Yeah, and it's not very measurable that way
No.
either. Yeah. And so there are different types of goals, though, because you've kind of taught me that there are focused goals, which are what?
So focus goals to me are something that doesn't necessarily relate to something you're accomplishing. So for instance, focus goals are something I don't write down about where my business is going to be, but just where our life is, and where my business goes reflects onto our life. So one of my focus goals when I first started my business, we enjoyed drinking wine. We could rarely have it because we were very poor at the time. And so my focus goal was I would like to have wine every night at dinner.
Yeah, you said a bottle of wine.
Yeah.
every night.
I'd like to be able to have, maybe don't drink the whole thing, but we have a bottle of wine every night at dinner.
Yeah.
And about 2 years ago, we reached that goal. And so it was kind of this pleasure focus goal to keep me excited. And then my business goal would have been, okay, well, what does it take to do that? Well, it takes, it took like $6,000 a month, according to all our expenses and everything in it. That was when I allowed that goal to kind of transition and allow the focus goal to be met.
Right.
But it's a fun goal attached to a serious goal. And Shaun White even talked about that. Like Shaun White always set this fun goal outside of the serious goal. So he wanted to win the Winter Olympics, but next to that goal, he wanted to wear American flag pants on the podium. So something he could laugh about and have fun with outside of something he was very serious about.
Okay, yeah. So I feel like you kind of changed maybe a little bit what you were saying then. So let me interpret maybe.
Yes, of course.
So like a focus goal is more of a light, like what our life looks like. So it is the building of the life that we want to wake up to. And
I guess the Shaun White thing was a little bit of a detour.
But that's okay. It was still fun. I love that. I love that he did that.
Yeah.
And so like the focused goal is maybe more of that decade, or maybe it's a 5 year. It's not the decade. It's in the 5 years or in the 3 years. It's this picture. So if you want to do a picture board, like what does my life look like? And here's a little aspect of it. So the wine was a little aspect of what we wanted our life to look like. And there were other things included in that.
Exactly.
And so the focused goal is what we tend to, maybe what Bill Gates was saying, is that we underestimate. We don't see ourselves living that life. But that's where I disagree. I'm like, no, I think that there's a lot of people that see themselves living that perfect life, that life where they're drinking wine and they're hanging out with friends and they're not having to go to work every single day because maybe they work from home and they run their own business, or they're traveling abroad all the time and that's part of their work. Whatever it is, whatever that dream board, that picture board is, that is more of a focused goal, and there's specifics inside of it.
Well, and what you're saying is there's an old adage that is dreams without goals are fantasies. And so that's the thing. Maybe people fantasize what their life will look like in 10 years, but they're not doing the work to reach the dream and the goal.
Okay, so then that brings us to the daily.
Yeah, the tasks.
And that brings the tasks and
the systems.
And the systems in.
Yeah.
And so what are the difference between tasks and systems?
So tasks are something that you could do, but maybe you don't do it all the time. Okay. It's just something that, I got to go file this paperwork to go start my business. Okay, I need to go get this person hired so that the logo can be created. Those are tasks.
Okay.
Systems are things that you can ritual do on a ritual-oriented basis so that the needle moves forward in a consistent way every single day, every single week, every single month.
Okay, so then maybe my goals were more of systems. They weren't necessarily tasks. They were systems of every day, but I just didn't have the goal in mind. I didn't have anything written down that I was working towards. So I think in a previous episode, we did talk about systems a little bit and how we don't always know what the system is going, leading to.
Exactly.
So sometimes it does have a goal attached to the end of it, of why I'm doing this system every day, why I'm writing this blog. Every single day I'm writing a new blog.
Or why we're posting to the Great Conversation.
Right. Why we're having this conversation with y'all every single day, that it's building something that, we don't know, a relationship or helping someone or just encouraging someone. We have no idea what it's leading to.
Yeah, but we know our goal is to help people live a better life. How, like we said in our last episode, we're kind of having this thought form of building a life you love to wake up to. Like that is what we want to see in our own lives, and that's what we want to see in other people. So we're having the great conversation on a weekly basis as a system so that we can refine our conversation and our thoughts and our ideas, and we can help others in that as well.
Yeah. Okay. So the tasks are super important and the systems are super important. And how can people stop underestimating what they can do in a day and really like get on that? Say, okay, I have this dream life. I have this focused goal of where I want to go in my life, what I want my life to look like. How do I make myself do the tasks and the systems every day?
So I was listening to a sermon from Matt Chandler the other day, one of my favorite pastors. I just love how he communicates. And he said, if you want to throw somebody off, next time you ask somebody how they're doing and they say, oh, I'm so busy, just ask them why.
Yeah.
And he said, like, you'll immediately get this, like, well, what do you mean? I'm busy. I'm doing stuff. I'm not lazy. Yeah. And it's this whole idea of even our culture, and not just in America, but around the world, of if we're not busy, we're either lazy, we're a loser, we're not doing anything, we have no mission, we have no goal. But in fact, it's actually could be the opposite, where we are so busy that we're not doing anything of value. And so the first step, in my opinion, and even the thing that this takes me to is, if you're busy, I'll start over.
No, it's fine. I liked it.
Okay.
No, it's fine.
If you're busy, find out why you're busy, because something is ruling your life and it's not you. Yeah. So if you're busy, find out why, cut it out.
Yeah. And I think there's a lot of, inspirational speakers or motivators that would say, yeah, like make a list of all that you're doing and start saying no to some things.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's pinpointed as to why. And I mean, we might say, well, because I'm overwhelmed, or because, usually people that are overwhelmed, then they take the step to say, okay, I got to start saying no to people. I got to start cutting stuff out. But we have really started actually saying, we're not going to use that word. Like
busy.
Right.
Yeah.
If we're busy, something's has to change.
Yeah.
Because our week is very purposeful, and each day has specific things that we're doing to lead us to that life, that focused goal, that we love to wake up to, the life that we love to wake up to.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. But we shouldn't be busy, because it is just this motion, it's this energy. But the question is, why are you busy? And if you're doing that much, is it actually moving you forward?
Where is that busyness taking you?
Yeah.
I was talking with a friend today, or the other day, and he was saying, like, oh, I'm trying to decide on this or on this. And when I looked at those two decisions he was trying to make, one of them was to change his Instagram handle, and the other one of them was to update a category in his website. And he just couldn't figure out what to do. He's like, I don't know what to do. Should I do this or should I? I was like, you don't do any of them. Do neither of them. None of them matter. Go. He wants to become a more prolific photographer, more well-known, more renowned. I said, go and post on Instagram. Go and post on LinkedIn. Go and make content. Nobody cares what your Instagram, if your Instagram handle is polka.44. It doesn't matter if your work is shown and it's amazing.
Yeah.
So don't get distracted with the busyness, because a lot of times our lizard brain, a lot of psychologists talk about that, basically like our animal instinct brain, wants tasks that are easy to win. Changing my Instagram handle, very low hanging fruit, very easy, not frightening, easy win.
And it makes us feel good. Yeah.
It makes us feel good. It's the dopamine kick. Yeah. So that's the thing is, identify where your lizard brain is taking over and cut it out.
Yeah.
And that's what I've had to do. There's times I walk up to my office in the morning, it's really easy to check my email. But what's hard is to research a topic for my next video. And to make sure I'm writing good content and I'm researching and I'm sitting down with the computer and I'm looking at it and I'm assessing it, and then I'm filming a video.
Yeah.
That moves the needle forward.
And you've always said that in our relationship, that like if you have a fear of it, and not an actual fear that people could be like, yeah, that's
like a dangerous fear. Like you
like
shouldn't jump off a mountain.
Yeah. But this fear of like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I want to do that. Yeah, that's uncomfortable. Then I need to tackle that. I need to do it. I need to overcome it.
It's a clear indicator that is the one thing you should do right now, today. That is the most important next step in your life.
Yeah. And so talking about next steps, I think, Cal Newport, he talked about this in a podcast you were listening to the other day, that we often just create these to-do lists. And of course, there's some things on the to-do list that we know we need to do, but it's like, maybe we'll do that sometime. And then there's tasks that like, okay, yeah, I can do that. And
lizard brain tasks.
Yeah, and so we should not just go into our work or our day or whatever we're trying to accomplish and just look through our to-do list and pick one. You shouldn't do that, because you're going to pick all the ones that that probably don't really need to be done, and avoid the ones that are really important. Instead, you should have specific days and times where you say, I am going to do that. When Monday morning at 9:45 a.m. comes, that is happening no matter what.
Yeah. Absolutely. And he talks he was unpacking one of my favorite books by him, which is Deep Work. I love Cal Newport. He's an incredible author.
We've always talked about this.
Talks all about optimizing your life. And that concept really unpacks into the idea of attack the thing that will bring you the most value first, and attack it with great focus. Cut out email, cut out distraction, and get after that task or that system. Yeah. For us, it's coming up here each week and filming this video.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I do think, like you said, we are on this journey of building a life that we love to wake up to, that each day comes and we're ready for it because we have taken the steps every day to build that life. And when is that life going to happen? Each time we reach a focused goal, we add to that. But this is a journey no matter what.
Oh, that's so good. Yeah, because that life won't ever actually happen. Because every time we reach a goal, we realize that the goal was small. Like I talked about that with you the other day. I was like, it's funny, now that we're, running these businesses and we're making X amount per year, and we're seeing wow, we've made it to this place we never thought we could go to. We're like, wow, our goal was too small. And so that's the thing is if you look at it as an end goal, you might never actually take the effort to reach it because it feels very far off. Where if you take it as a system and a task and a day, your mind will expand around what is actually possible.
Yeah. And I would go back to what you said about life never actually happens, because I want to completely throw that statement out.
Okay,
because life does happen. I think that's the point, is that life is always happening. Yeah. And so when we reach those focus goals, that has, like you said, opened our eyes up to, okay, we reached this and life is amazing and we never thought that we could get here. But, and you're right in this way, but we see so much more. Our minds have been open to the possibility of so much more that now we're like, okay, we got to make a bigger goal. And so yes, in the sense of life never happens, but I do want to shine back on the fact that life is beautiful, because when we do have these focus goals and we're taking every day and saying this day has the potential for so much, that then we start finding so much fulfillment, and we don't have this just well, I might do it tomorrow. Today I'm just going to chill and maybe we'll get to it, because that just brings so much heaviness. Forever you have that 10-year goal or that 5-year goal, whatever it is, sitting on you, and you feel powerless to actually get to it. It is just a dream.
It's a fantasy.
It is a fantasy. It hasn't become a dream with, what did you say? It's a dream with...
A dream, a fantasy is a dream without actual goals. And so a dream is built upon systems and tasks and goals that can be accomplished. That is actually something you're going towards. Yeah. And we talked about, okay, well, how do you get there? And the thing that I have found is the system is not only what you're doing, but how and at which time you're doing it. And so for me, the way I built a system to get us to where we are was I woke up every single morning at the exact same time, and I did the similar work over and over and over. And I tested and I adjusted, but I kept doing the same thing. I kept working at the same goal. And so for me, that was 4:30. Now it's about 5 a.m. that I get up. But every day, even though, for 5 years I've worked a full-time job, I still every day got up and got to work on our dream, on our goal. And that is what took us to the place where we can now look back and say, we've started to build the life we love to wake up to.
Yeah, and I do want to add to that for those of our listeners and just people that are in our lives that have listen to us say, you need systems, you need that schedule in a sense, if we want to call it that. And we've had some pushback of well, where's the room for, just some
spontaneity.
Yeah. Where's the fun in that? Where's the romance in that? Whatever.
Yeah.
Life is more than that. We have taken busy out of our lives because of our systems, because of our schedule, because we say, no, I can't hang out now because that's this section of time for this task. Yeah. But look at all this other time that we have. We have an entire day. Our entire Saturday is about doing nothing but rest.
Yep.
Every single Saturday.
Absolutely.
Phones off, time with the family available. In the evenings, we are always available for people.
I never work
in the evenings. Yeah. And then Sunday's the start of our week, but it's like a work day, but also time for people day, time for other tasks, that just whatever you want to throw at us type of day.
Absolutely.
And so with the schedule, with the systems, with the everyday, this is what happens because this day is important, we have created such open space for other things and for people. And so with that schedule has actually allowed us more freedom.
Absolutely. Absolutely. As humans, we thrive in rhythms, is what I have found for me personally. And I think if you think that you don't thrive in rhythms, you're either lying to yourself or you're too busy and sporadic to understand the value of it.
Right. Because life is rhythm.
Life is rhythm. There's seasons in life. There's dark, there's light, there's time. And everything goes in a rhythm. It is a roundabout.
Yeah. And so we are the same way.
We're built
the
that way.
human body is built that way too.
Absolutely.
So I hope that all of this talk about how to actually build the life that you love to wake up to is helpful.
Yeah, what are you building towards? That's something we love to know. We love to see here in the comments of what are you building towards? Do you have a system? Do you have a life that is built upon rhythms and systems and tasks and goals? This is a conversation and we want you all to be a part of it.
We'll see you next time.
Bye now.